Please welcome to the show, Mr. Dan Geltrude. Dan, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy guy, coming to us all the way from Nutley, New Jersey. All right, what are your thoughts on this? I definitely have mine.
Yeah, I know you do, and just what you've been sharing there, I understand your frustration and irritation, and it goes back, in my mind, in that appeasement never ends well. And up until this point, we have been appeasing China for decades. Why? I don't know. Why should we ever reward bad behavior? If we look at the history of what China has done, both economically and beyond, they never play fair. They just don't. Now, where we are with these tariffs, yeah, there's economics at stake here, and that's real. But there's bigger stakes here. When you look at, for example, the agri-terrorism, that to me, that's the canary in the coal mine. That's just not a red flag, no pun intended. The siren should be going off when things like that are happening. And I'll tell you this, too, about Geneva. If the Geneva deal meant anything, China wouldn't need reminders. And that's what this is about. Remember, there's no international court system to keep them in line. So if we're just going to talk and shake hands, it means nothing, Scott.
I agree, and I think part of the appeasement is safe from Trump's point of view because they have been treating them with kid gloves, which is irritating me. And again, and Iran falls in that same bucket as well. All the while we're trying to be upfront and do trade deals with them. Behind their back, they're enriching uranium, or our back, they're enriching uranium. And then behind our back, the Chinese are sending in. I mean, agro-terrorism, that's a big deal. And not to mention COVID, right? Not to mention fentanyl. Not to mention how many cyber attacks have we had from China? Not to mention the intellectual property rights they steal, $500 billion to $1 trillion a year. I mean, at some point in time, you have to look in the mirror and go, these people are bad actors. Now, the one reason that I think we're treating with kid gloves is this rare earth deal. They are the distributor of rare earths to the world, and we really need that. And until we get another place to get that from, I think that's why we're kind of going softly, softly. What do you think?
Well, you're right. That's problematic. And I'll tell you what else is problematic. A lot of prescription drugs actually come from China. And that's another key point here because we can't have people's prescription drugs being cut off. So I understand why we have to be a little careful. However, there's another side to this. China needs us, yes. Right? If we literally cut China off completely, I'm not saying we wouldn't have pain if they did the same to us. But the pain that China would feel would be enormous. So let's not push our leverage to the side. We have to have some courage in these talks. We have to have demands met. And if China won't meet them, heck, let's just tariff the hell out of them until they cry uncle.
I don't disagree. Obviously, you can see where I stand on it. But, you know, we don't. I don't understand the mentality in this country because over the weekend, you'll probably have remembered that the governor of Arizona, Katie Hobbs, vetoed a bill that said that the Chinese can't buy land around our our military installations in the country. She said no. She's against that. She's against not letting them do that. And it begs the question: whose side are you on in this thing? What are you? We're going to talk about it in the next block, too. But so many of these 80-20 or 90-10 deals where the rest of the country is in the 90% and they come down to the 10%. And it's almost inexplicable. It's almost like it's on purpose.
Yeah, well, you know, fortunately, Scott, in our country, when people are coming down on the short side of the 90-10 or 80-20 issues, there are elections every year. So the people can certainly send a message. So I think across the board, we all have to show a little bit of courage to have the Chinese government buying up land around anything that's sensitive to our defense and our national security. That should be a no-brainer no matter what. Because again, the tariffs are the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, it's economics. There's so much more at play here, Scott, and people have to wake up. I think Donald Trump understands that, Let's hope that he holds the line, as well as the people that are negotiating on our behalf, and they say enough is enough. This is where we're going to make our stand. Hopefully, future administrations will continue to hold the line. Otherwise, we go back to where we were.
And I'll finish it with this. You know, I've been saying for a while now, probably the last 6 or 7 weeks, that I'm for whatever you do to me, we can do to you. That's it. That's the reciprocal tariffs, right? If I can't buy land in your country, you can't buy it in mine. I don't care if you're China or not China. That's how I'd like to run things. However, now that China has been such a bad actor, I wouldn't do that deal with them because they've been behaving so badly. I mean, look at the litany of things that they've done, and they need our store. They need to have access to the American consumer. So I still wouldn't do a reciprocal deal with them. I would still have to make them pay to get into our club. And I think that's because, like you just rightfully said, they need us. So what do you think about that?
I like the concept. However, Scott, I don't think that's going to happen. So to me, if we at least get a level playing field, I'll take that for right now. Let's make everything reciprocal, as you said. We can't buy your land. You can't buy ours. You have 100% tariff. We have 100% tariff. If we start there and hold the line, we could actually send a strong message that we're not playing around this time.
All right, brother. Always great to see you. It's been a while. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you again next week, Dan. Dan Geltrude coming to us from Nutley, New Jersey. All right, let's take a look.